What is up everyone, Movie Wayne back again with another top 10 video. This is going to be my top 10 actors of all time. Now I'm not saying these are the best top 10 actors ever, it's just a bit of a personal list to me. I've done a bit of a nostalgia mixed with talent and the movies I like to come up with a top 10 list worthy of myself. But I just thought you guys might be interested to see who my favourite actors are. Now, I haven't included actresses in this. I'm not being sexist or nothing here, guys. Blame the Oscars if that's what you want, because they do male category and female category. I will do a top 10 actresses list down the road, but today I'm just focusing on actors. Now, there's so much I could have said about each one of these actors, but I'll try and keep it short and sweet for each entry. And before I get on the top 10, I've just got a couple of honourable mentions. Okay guys, these are the ones that I just couldn't squeeze into the top 10, but I do want to mention them real quick because I do hold them in high regard. They are Michael Keaton, Joe Pesci, Denzel Washington, Tom Cruise, who I've recently grown really fond of, Christian Bale, Edward Norton, Benicio del Toro and Johnny Depp. I do love these actors, but I just couldn't quite squeeze them in there. But nevertheless, let's get on with the top 10. Okay guys, coming in at number 10 is going to be Jack Nicholson. And when I was a kid, I used to watch Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, constantly, all the time, mainly because of the character of the Joker. I actually went to the cinema last week to watch it again, and I knew he was good in the role, but I didn't realise he was actually that good as the Joker. Okay, he's not the best Joker, but back then, he was the only Joker we really had, him and Cesar Romero, and I just really thought he pulled the role off really well. He's really funny in the movie. But he's also been in some other great movies like The Shining, where he's just playing this really, really troubled man, and, you know, he's terrifying at the same time, but also brilliant. He's also won 3 Oscars, one of them being Best Actor in a Main Role, and that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I didn't get to a bit later in life, but let's just say it's one of the best movies of all time, and he's at the centre of it. So I just think he's got also a unique ability of pulling these crazy faces, and I just think he's a brilliant actor, and he's been in some brilliant films over the years. So number 10 is Jack Nicholson, and if you think he shouldn't be in this, there's only one reason why. You can't handle the truth! Coming in at number 9, guys, is going to be Brad Pitt, a guy who chooses his films very carefully. He always seems to be in great movies, and especially some David Fincher films like Seven and Fight Club, 2 of my favourite movies of all time, especially Fight Club. He's absolutely fantastic in that film. But there's also films like Sleepers, where, you know, he's just a great character in that. And who can forget his performance in the movie Snatch? You know, he's just absolutely hilarious in that film and shows that he can be versatile as well. And, you know, lately he's appeared in quite a few Tarantino movies, one of which he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was really happy that he won, the Oscar for that, because he's such a great character in that movie. And one scene in that, he actually beats up Bruce Lee, for Christ's sake. So I just thought he was brilliant in that film, fully deserved his Oscar. And if there's a movie with Brad Pitt in, I'm going to watch it. So number 9 is Brad Pitt. Coming in at number 8, guys, it's going to be Keanu Reeves. Now, I used to love Speed when I was a kid, and I still do to this day. It's one of my favourite action films of all time, mainly down to Keanu Reeves' portrayal of Jack Traven. He's just this awesome kick-ass action star in that movie, and he's done it a few times as well, like Neo in The Matrix, you know, the ultimate action movie. But he's been in also Point Break, which is another great action film. And he's been in Bill and Ted, and there's another one coming this year. So he can do the versatility as well. You know, he's quite funny in them movies. And next year really was meant to be the year of Keanu Reeves, wasn't it? I mean, later this year, he's starring in a game called Cyberpunk. But next year, he was going to go on to do John Wick 4, The Matrix 4. And that has all been slowed down now due to COVID, which is a bit of a shame, but still one of the coolest men on the planet right now. So number 8 is Keanu Reeves. Coming in at number 7, guys, it's going to be Leonardo DiCaprio. From Critters 3, yes, the first movie he was in, all the way to Hollywood. Or should I say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's just a model professional, isn't he? Everything he touches turns to gold lately. And, you know, he's come on so much from the 90s to work with Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino, which is good enough for me, 2 of my favourite directors. They must highly rate him to use him. And, you know, I thought I was pretty down for him when he missed out on an Oscar for The Wolf of Wall Street, because I thought he really, really did deserve it for that movie. He's fantastic as Jordan Belfort in that film, but at least he got one for The Revenant. He deserves an Oscar at some point, because he is one of the best actors working today, and, you know, if he's in a movie, you're going to go and see it, aren't you? So number 7 is Leonardo DiCaprio. Coming in at number 6, guys, is going to be Sylvester Stallone. One of my more nostalgic picks for the list, but I just love nearly everything I see him in. You know, he's made some great action movies like the Rambo films, Demolition Man, and let's be honest, he played probably the greatest movie hero of all time in Rocky Balboa. If you watch them movies, you feel like you've been on a life's journey with him, and Sylvester Stallone portrays him in each one of them films as the exact same character. I mean, to do that over the course of, what, 8 movies with Creed 2, is it? It's just phenomenal, to be honest. You know, getting that same character every time. And he's still going today. He's really looked after himself. He looks fit as anything, and he's still making movies today. It was only last year, I think, that we got Rambo Last Blood, which I really enjoyed. So, yeah, you know, loves a good one-liner as well, doesn't he? And to top it all off, he's an Evertonian like myself. So number 6 is going to be Sylvester Stallone. Number 5 is going to be Tom Hanks. I think this guy is going to go down as one of the greatest ever, you know, when he actually hangs his acting boots up, if he ever does. But this guy is just the star of every movie he's in, really, isn't he? He brings a certain charm to each film that he's in, Tom Hanks, I feel. You know, he just makes the movie so watchable, no matter what the subject is. And I used to love even his comedic stuff back in the day, but he's much more of a professional actor now, and he does it all brilliantly. Tom Hanks playing Forrest Gump, one of the best portrayals of a character I've ever seen in a movie, I think. You know, and let's not forget The Green Mile, one of my favourite films of all time. He's fantastic in that. And Tom Hanks is just amazing. He really is. I watched Greyhound earlier, you know, in the month, and it wasn't the greatest film. You know, I give it a 5 out of 10, but if it weren't for Tom Hanks, I probably would have given it a lower score, because he just brings so much to the film. He brings everything he can every time. So, yeah, number 5 is going to be Tom Hanks. Number 4 is going to be... That's right, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Now, I just love nearly everything I see this guy in. He commands the presence of the audience, doesn't he? Every time he's on screen, you look directly at him. Even in Pulp Fiction, when he stood next to John Travolta, your eyes are fixated on Samuel L. Jackson. I just think he's a fantastic actor, I really do. And he's been in 189 acting credits on IMDb. Now, I know not all of them are movies, but he's actually appeared in over 125 films, and he's played so many different roles. He's been in King Kong, he's been in the MCU, he's done serious roles, for God's sake. The guy is just great, isn't he? You know, it'll be a sad day when he leaves film. I hope he never does. But one of my favourites of his is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now, I know Die Hard 1 is probably the greatest movie in that franchise, but I always go to number 3 because I just love the arguing back and forth between him and Bruce Willis in that movie. If Samuel L. Jackson's in a film, I'm going to watch it, guys. So number 4 is Samuel L. Jackson. Number 3 is going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, there's a reason for this, guys. This guy was my first ever celebrity hero. You know, he was the guy I looked up to. And, you know, I just... everything he's in is amazing. Even if the movie's bad, he makes it great to watch. You know, he's just such a fun actor who brings so much to each role. Not the most technically gifted actor, but he always is entertaining all the time. He's the king of one-liners, isn't he? And I remember actually being terrified of him in Terminator 1. And then he's the hero in Terminator 2, which made you less terrified of him. The way he can pull both of those roles off, he's the bad guy and the good guy in two serious, really serious masterpieces of cinema. You know, they are, without a doubt, his greatest roles. But he's just been in so many great ones. And, like, Kindergarten Cop, he plays like a teacher, for God's sake. But it's so funny to watch. I love Jingle All the Way, when he's running around looking for this toy everywhere for this kid and he's going crazy. Put that cookie down! You know, you know what I love about his character when I say he always brings joy? There's a scene in Predator where, you know, there's this big war going off, you know, he could die at any second. And he throws a knife to someone and sticks into the wall, and he's just got time to say, stick around. That's the type of guy Arnold is. And, you know, bonus points, I share my birthday with him. I just want to say, Arnold, if you are watching this, my friend, I love you, man. So number 3 is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Coming in at number 2, guys, and he used to be number 1, I'm not going to lie, but that has changed a little bit over the years, is Robert De Niro. Now, this guy is just the king of crime movies, isn't he? He's in nearly every Martin Scorsese film ever made. But there's a scene in Goodfellas, which you'll probably know him from more than anything, where Morty keeps asking him for money. Morty walks away, and he just thinks about killing Morty. And basically, it's just him looking down, having a little smile at the camera, smoking a cigarette, looking down, looking up again, and thinking about killing Morty with this music on in the background. And it's basically the coolest movie scene of all time for me. It's just, he's not really doing anything, but he is doing everything. It's just, you'll know the scene what I'm talking about. He's just a brilliant, brilliant actor, and I'll just watch anything this guy is in. But, you know, he also won an Oscar for his role in The Godfather 2, which to me is the greatest film of all time. He does the prequel side of things there as Don Corleone, and he does it magnificently. He really does. Fully deserved his Oscar for that. But it's not just crime movies, you know, he's won an Oscar for Raging Bull, Martin Scorsese's boxing phenomenon based on a true story of Jake LaMotta. And, you know, you just reel this guy's filmography off, don't you? And you just see the likes of Taxi Driver, you know, Bronx Tale, Once Upon a Time in America. The list goes on, it really does. He is just absolutely incredible. And, you know, more lately, The Irishman, he was great in that as well. And Heat, another one. You know, the list just does go on. So, number 2, guys, is Robert De Niro. Easily one of the greatest actors of all time. Coming in at number 1, guys, is going to be Al Pacino. Now, my dad used to tell me a long time ago that Al Pacino was the greatest actor ever. And I was like, no, Dad, I think it's Robert De Niro. But I hadn't seen too many Al Pacino movies back then. I'd only really seen Scarface. But now I realise that my dad was absolutely right. After checking out way more of his movies, the character arc he has in Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 is the best character arc I've ever seen in any movies ever. You know, he's just this little shy guy, which he does so well, but then he's just someone ruthless you do not mess with. You can see the seriousness in his face. He just really does mean business. And, you know, let's talk about Scarface again, for example. That movie is a good movie, but it is better than it has any right to be because of Al Pacino. When you think of the movie Scarface, you don't really think of any scenes in particular. You just think of Tony Montana. One of the best acting performances I've ever seen in my life. The remake has got some living up to do if it goes down that road, because that casting choice is absolutely perfect. He won an Oscar for Scent of a Woman, deservedly so, playing this blind guy, which he done really, really well as well. And it was just lovely to see him and De Niro in that cafe in the movie Heat. You know, my 2 favourite actors of all time, and he's been in some other great films, you know, Carlito's Way and stuff. The Irishman lately, where he stood out a mile above Joe Pesci and De Niro. Okay, all 3 of them were brilliant, but he was the standout for me. He was the guy I was fixated on most of the time. So number 1, guys, my favourite actor of all time is Al Pacino. Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this top 10 list. If you want to comment, let me know your favourite actors. I'll reply to you all, I promise. You know, if you want to subscribe, it's up to yourself. Got a lot more videos coming, lots more top 10s, reviews coming. Got the movie news every week, so it's up to yourself. Take it all easy, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next video.